Hi, everybody. This is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solution. We are so excited to be having this conversation with Susan Natalie today about how she's been able to double her business in 2020 with 5 strategies. Before we get into that, just a little bit about what I do. I work with accounting professionals to be able to help them double their income while working half the time, because I realize that accounting professionals really make a difference for their clients. They are very, very hard workers, and a lot of times they undervalue what they bring to the table. They don't know how to price their services or enroll new clients, because sometimes communicating the value is something that is elusive to them. It's uncomfortable to be able to brag and sell. Because of that, I want to show them how to be able to have a business that supports their lifestyle instead of one that drains the life out of them, where they have to compromise in order to earn more money. Basically, what I'm looking at is separating your fees from time and really leading with the value of how you make a difference for your clients. That is a little bit about what I do. I will let you know how to connect with me later on if you'd like to talk further about how that would work in your business. But right now I want to talk about Susan. Susan Natalie started her bookkeeping and accounting advisory business in 2011. That was during the economic recession. She and her husband had closed the family business. They needed to find a new source of income that would be recession-proof. Well, Susan became a QuickBooks Pro advisor. She used her entrepreneurial skills, began building her client list, and right now she currently services monthly bookkeeping clients. She does accounting cleanup jobs and training. Susan has enough business that she's hired an assistant bookkeeper, and she can live comfortably while working 20 to 30 hours per week. That is what Susan's been able to accomplish in a relatively short period of time. And Susan, just want to welcome you to this conversation that we're going to be having today.
Thank you for inviting me in.
Oh, absolutely. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about the work that you do, Susan?
We'll get into this, but it's all about fine tuning, and the work that I do now it's always sort of in flux. I'm figuring myself out still and just finding where I want to focus and what works for me best. And I'm still moving. I'm moving up where I thought I had limits. I know that I don't.
Excellent. And what I wanted to find out is really about that journey as you've been moving up. And let's go ahead and start at the beginning. What were things like before we met and started really working together?
Well, things were, I thought, okay, but I was working too long. I had 2 part-time jobs, each 2 days a week. So 4 days a week were blocked out. Then I would come home, have dinner, work after dinner until often midnight, 1 in the morning. So I wasn't hurting for a lack of work. I worked on weekends, and it was very frustrating for my husband. It was very difficult. I was burned out, and I'd hit the wall as far as how much money I was making. I knew for me to make more money, I didn't have the time. I would have to clone myself or figure out another solution. Mm-hmm. I was exhausted.
And one of the things that I know a lot of times happens is there's a lag between when you first start thinking about something and when you actually pull the trigger and take action. About how long were you thinking about it before we actually started to work together?
Well, I was looking for a solution for a couple of years, really, and did sign on to other programs, let's say. I knew there was a solution, and so I tried other ones, mm-hmm. and they were more boilerplate. You pay a monthly fee, and they have documents for you and spreadsheets on how to figure out how to charge. I knew I was undercharging, and I didn't know how much to charge. So these programs would just have you drop numbers based on how much time it would take me to do something and come up with a number, which quite frankly, I was able to do on my own spreadsheet. So it wasn't getting there for me. I knew that I had limitations in my own experience and personality. I needed those numbers to mean something to me. I needed to believe those numbers and know how to present them.
Hmm.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead, Susan.
And so I got to the point where I really didn't think there was help out there for me. I really didn't.
With that, I know that we met through Lean Law. What
Yeah.
made you decide that you wanted to work closely with me?
Well, when I saw you on the Lean Law webinar, it really sparked something in me, because I understood that you could get to the root of what the issues are. I think we all do. I had an issue with money, with asking for it, with my own value. And you brought up the point that exists. And I knew you could chisel through that. And I had a very good feeling you could chisel through it. And I said, listen, if this lady can't help me, nobody can. Because I didn't need help with a bookkeeping business. I knew how to keep books. I needed to be able to move forward. I said, if she can't help me move forward, then I have hit the wall, and this is as good as it gets.
And I know that you did hit the wall. When we first met, you were exhausted, but I also realized that when I talk to people, there's obstacles between knowing what you want and then actually making the decision to invest in yourself and start working together. So what were some of the obstacles that really came up when we were first connecting and talking about how you wanted to transform your business?
Quite honestly, there were not very many obstacles left, because although I have a difficult relationship with money, I do not have any difficulty judging and coming to a decision. I come to my decisions very quickly. And I knew you could help me. There was something in the back of my mind, and not to say I didn't speak to my family about it and what they thought and everything, but they're very supportive. They said, look, if you think this is the right way for you to go, then go ahead and do it. And I just knew it was going to work.
And so I really appreciate that, because I know that there's usually things that you have to consider. There's things that you go through. I think that you did a lot of research and trying different things, knowing that there was an answer, but you just weren't getting it yet. However, part of what you did do over the past year is you developed 5 strategies that was able to grow your bank account and free up your time, and would like to hear about what those strategies are before we really dig in deeper with them.
Okay, do you want me to just list them, or just say the first one and talk about it?
Whatever pleases you. You can go ahead and go through all of them and talk about them.
Okay. The first strategy is raise your rates.
My favorite topic.
Yeah, raise your rates, and with your new clients and your old clients, and then we could expand on that later. Number 2, I wrote down here, clean out your closet. By that, I mean, get rid of the clients who are dragging you down. I know they're paying you. I know they're paying you a little bit. Get rid of the clients, and accentuate the positive. Find the clients that are working for you and do more. Find out what else you can do for them. Number 3, build your team. I really, like we said, was running out of time. And so I was fortunate to find somebody to assist me. And then in addition to that, I believe in getting outside help. I believe in getting coaching when you need it. And I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. And so I don't mind having people join my team who can help me with the things that I don't have the time or the desire to reinvent. Number 4, educate yourself always and become indispensable to your clients. And I've had the extra time now where I do that, and my clients really appreciate that. And then number 5 is do the lucrative work. And one very lucrative work is cleanups, which I had sworn off and didn't want to do it. But quite frankly, if it's a cleanup for $8,000 rather than $500, you can learn to love it.
Can you share a little bit about really how that worked, or how you were able to do cleanups for $8,000 instead of $500?
Well, I had a little help with a little coaching, let's put it that way. You and I sat down and we really hashed it out on what were the important things that I had to look at. Number 1, it started, and this is one of the harder ones, I think, for a lot of people in my position, is to charge for a diagnostic. So the diagnostic, I had, my first big cleanup job came up, the $8,000 one. It was current clients. And they said, we want to redo our general ledger starting in January of 2019. And this was, I think, September of 2019. So I thought in my mind, I don't know, $1,500, and just, came up with a number. And you said, wait, let's sit down and talk. First of all, you need to charge them to sit down and assess this. You need to look at this carefully. So I charged them $250 for a diagnostic, which now I realize was a little low because the diagnostic took me 5 hours of my time. But I didn't regret it so much because that 5 hours of my time was well spent, where everything came to the forefront. And I had a very, very detailed spreadsheet, as you can imagine, where I figured out how long everything was going to take me that I thought, and then adding a cushion onto it for unknowns, for all the hidden stuff that always comes up, and came up with about 3 sets of numbers, and settled on $8,000 because I was able to convince myself and know that I could talk to them about it. And it ended up where they didn't even flinch. They knew what it was worth. I think they knew the worth more than I did in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I would have charged them initially $1,500, and I charged them $8,000. So.
And did they pay you up front?
They did pay me up front. I billed them up front, and credit card up front. So it was really a turning point for me, where I realized there is money in this and I can do it. And they see the value in it.
Mm-hmm. And how quickly did that happen after we started working together?
That was, the inquiry came a month and a half after we started working together. Mm-hmm. So I think from when I started with you and when I got money in the bank from them, it was maybe 2 months.
Excellent. And sounds like that was about what, $6,800 in profit from what you would have done otherwise?
Well, I think I would have, what did I say I would charge them? I think
$1,500.
Yeah. So about $6,500 in profit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one other thing I want to say, because I know that when we first met, you had 2 part-time positions. There were some Peter clients that you didn't enjoy working with. They were headaches for you. And where are those people now in your life?
Well, the number 1 PETA client, and it wasn't so much that, but it was my 2-day-a-week job that took, I live in Los Angeles, so the commute was 45 minutes each way. So it was 9.5 hour day. It just took all my time, and it was exhausting, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And I didn't like the work I did there. I didn't like the business. I keep a journal, and I looked back 3 years ago where it said, I got to get out of here. But it took me 2 more years after that to do it. So I didn't have the confidence to do that. And I kept setting limits to myself. I said, okay, when I get 1 more monthly client or 2 more monthly clients, I can quit this job. And then I would get 2 more monthly clients, and then I'd raise the bar again when I get X number of dollars more a month. But it was very hard for me to turn away from that because it was W-2 guaranteed income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that one of the things that you're talking about that I just want to bring out also is people have a really high tolerance level when they're already in something because of the security that comes with it. as well as the risk of leaving that thing that's a known factor. And because that, you stay with something that's not really satisfying for too long, and there's a cost to tolerating that as well.
Big cost. I was very grouchy at night, and dinner table
Your poor
conversation.
husband.
Yeah, dinner table conversation was what went on today. It was a crazy job.
Mm-hmm. Then I want to look at, okay, you've mentioned the value part of it. How do you go ahead and analyze and quote for projects based on value when you're not really looking at the time or letting that be the primary factor when you're considering your rates?
Well, I think that's what you said about it not being the primary factor. I think it's impossible for somebody who's a numbers person like me or like other accountants to ignore time, because time is money. I do want to know how long it's going to take me. So I do sort of do an analysis on, for example, if they have 3 bank accounts and 12 months to reconcile, I'll put a column of that'll take me, I don't know, 25 minutes each one or whatever. So I do factor it in. And then I play with the numbers. What if it takes me a little longer, a little shorter? So I do start on a basis of time, just for a start. But I then branch over once I get these numbers. I really chew on the numbers, low, medium, and high for a few days and look and see what I'm comfortable with. And then what I do that you suggested I do, which was a really good tip, is add 30% to whatever I'm charging them, because there's always those unknown factors. And I have never done any job where that didn't come into play, where there was extra hidden stuff, especially when a client says, oh, it's really easy, we only have 2 accounts. Never true. Never. Or don't reconcile this one, we don't need that. Never true. So I've sort of enjoyed too, after the fact, looking to see how long I did take to do something and seeing how close I've come, because I like to monitor my own estimating abilities. And as I've done it, I've gotten better. So now I'm better able to come up with a figure faster in my mind. You just get better with time on, how long it's going to take and what to look for.
Sure. I think that also when you get into the raising your rates part, especially with your current clients, there's a lot of stuff that comes up. We get in our own way, we become our own bottlenecks. Do you have any ideas to maybe how long you were thinking about raising rates with your clients before you actually pulled the trigger?
Oh yeah, probably 2 years. I had certain clients that actually, I was cleaning out my email the other day, and I saw a draft folder. I had composed an email to the one client that I just raised rates, and the email was from 1.5 years ago. I didn't know how to word it. I didn't know what to say. I wasn't comfortable with what I didn't proceed because I did not know what I should be charging them. I really didn't. I knew I wasn't charging them enough. So for that client, it was over 1 year. Yeah.
And since then, I know that you have raised your rates. You've probably doubled your current rates with your clients without any pushback. Can you share that? Because that is like a dream come true for the majority of accounting professionals. And they don't think that they can do it like that. Or they think that they have to do these incremental 10% a year raises every year to finally get to that. But you went ahead and you were able to do something that so many accounting professionals only think or dream about.
Yeah, and it was partly because I think we put ourselves in a trap of I'm not charging enough. And then you end up doing more work. You never end up doing less work for the client. So I kept that in mind and kept a list that I was able to give to them. We're doing more now. So that was justification for it. But I think with a little nudge from you, actually, because when we first started talking about the prices that I should be charging, the top of my head came off. I was like, there's no way I can. And in my mind, I could not double their rates. There was just something about that number that was not going to work. They would never say yes. And so we worked on something that I could be comfortable with. but in fact, I was doing double the work that I had initially started doing for them. So there was nothing unfair about it. And again, once I was able to be comfortable with the numbers and comfortable with presenting the number and convinced in my own self that this wasn't just fleecing my clients. This was something that I was earning. I was able to present it to them, and their reaction was, I know it's time, and we agree, we value you, and I was sort of shocked, but
Do you mind
there was
sharing
nothing unfair about it.
Do you mind sharing your numbers? Because I know that you
Yeah.
keep spreadsheets on everything.
Oh yeah. So this client, I was charging them $800 a month. And I had them on a fixed amount, so I knew that I wasn't charging them by the hour, a fixed amount, and it had been for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up charging them $2,000 a month. So where I was making $800 a month, now I'm making $2,000 a month.
And is it the same amount of work?
Well, it's the same amount of work, yes, that it gradually grew to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because again, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to charge them that, maybe I should say I'll do A, B, C, D extra for them. And nope, they didn't ask for it. They said, yeah, we value you. We know you're doing a lot of work. And I think people understand that for them to hire a full charge bookkeeper, and at their levels, it would have been an accounting department, it would have cost them far, far more.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Excellent. And because that part of what I know you've been able to do also is you continue to fine tune your system as you grow your income. Can you share how you've been approaching that?
Yes, I have been looking at my current clients rather than looking for outside work, because at one time I said, if I could only have 10 more clients at say $250 a month, easy money, with an ease where I don't have to do that much, look how much more income I have. But that never happened. It's very hard to acquire 10 new clients. So instead of that, I looked at what was I leaving on the table? And I'm still doing that, because I didn't just write an email to all my clients and say, I'm doubling your fees. It was a process. And I started out with the one I had more confidence in their value of me. And then I got to the harder ones, and there's still one that I have to do. And, but I have some clients, I think most people in my position do, where it's a yearly thing. They like to do their own thing and then say, here, clean me up at the end of the year for taxes. So now what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, if you want me to clean you up at the end of the year for the taxes, it's going to cost you this. But if you want me to do this every month, it's going to cost you that, where it's going to be a bit of a discount for them. So in that way, it frees up my time. I'm not blocked at the end of the year just scrambling for their stuff. So as far as fine tuning, I'm coming up with ways to make the income more dispersed over the year, and also to value my time and not give me that tax crunch.
Mm-hmm. Part of what you mentioned is you came up with options. What do you mean by that? Because usually it's either work with me this way or we're not working together.
Right. And for example, one of my yearly clients called me the other day and he said, I think he's looking for a loan and he can't reconcile his bank accounts. And here we are in August. And every year I say, I'm not working for him anymore. This is such a pain, but I charge him more every year and he pays it. So I'm getting pushback from him. You don't have to do all these accounts. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do with him. I'm just going to say, listen, I'm going to do this for you for, I haven't even figured it out yet, X number of dollars. But if you pay me something every month, then we're not going to have to go through this every year. We're not going to have this conversation, because I can't do your yearly books for your taxes in January again. It's not happening. I'm too busy. I'm not going to say it like that, but let him know that I'm too busy to continue in the way we have been over the past few years.
You know what? I think that you're bringing up something really interesting, because one of the things that you're talking is you set a boundary now with this person. You're telling them how to work with you and be a good client, instead of you trying to adapt to them And as soon as they text you, as soon as they call you, you're running away from dinner or doing something on the weekend to be able to respond to them quickly. Tell me part of how that shifted for you regarding the boundaries and taking charge of your business.
Well, it's the new me. It's with the confidence I've acquired in realizing my value to these clients. And that's not to say that I have some very good clients who, if they don't text me, I don't get texts, but if they email me on a Saturday night with a concern, and if they're paying me $4,000 a month, I don't wait till Monday. Those are my great clients. So they do get my service and they don't take advantage of it. But I have more confidence now to be able to know that if this client does not like the boundaries I'm setting up, that I'll find somebody else better than him. Because I find that the more that they irritate you, the more they will continue to irritate you. So it's come with more self-confidence in how well I work for them and how much they really do value me. I really didn't see that before. I just, I don't think a lot of us who are specialists in anything appreciate how much went into it.
Part of what you're really talking about is the mindset piece of you have to connect with your own value before before others will recognize the value that you offer. Do you feel that there were any other hurdles that you faced regarding mindset that you had to be able to get over, or that you were able to work through as you were going through this process?
Well, absolutely. As I mentioned before, my relationship with money and feeling as though to quote unquote ask for money was to put myself in a vulnerable position, as if I needed a favor from you or my clients. And now I've turned that around to say, this is my value. So it was I think as women too, especially, I hope the new generation's not going to have these same blocks, but, working for the boys club for all these years, and women are meant to nurture and to solve problems. And that's what I did. And I didn't think it was right to ask or demand more money for that. And as long as I was doing what they needed me to do, they would like me and keep me on. So that was a very big hurdle for me. Still, it's a journey. It's a journey.
It's a journey for all of us.
Yeah.
Because what I feel is that in order for your business to successfully grow, you grow along with your business. It is a partnership. You're going to be faced with things, you're going to be challenged, and do you stick with the status quo because you've always done some things and tolerate, or do you really allow yourself to kind of challenge your beliefs or do something that is beyond your comfort zone? And really what I hear for you is that not only did you improve your the way who you're working with, but you also grew as an individual.
Oh, for sure. And by pushing those comfort zones, not too hard at first, but that's what we all have to do. And some of it's tough, but it's always amazing at how much easier it is after you've done it.
Right.
It's less painful.
And because you now have the insights as to how to value price your work, what do you feel has changed regarding your business and your life?
Oh, well, everything. For one thing, I work, like you said, 20 to 30 hours a week now.
Compared to how many hours a week before?
I was working probably 50 hours a week before because of those jobs.
Okay, so you went from 50 to 20.
Right. I have an assistant bookkeeper now who I've been able to delegate work to comfortably. It's not an easy thing when you first get an assistant. And, I watch television at night with my family. I never did that before. I have weekends free, which I still have to work on filling up with some, fun stuff. I'm not terribly good at that, but I think the main thing, I mean, it's just wonderful to wake up on a Tuesday or Thursday morning and not go, oh, I got to go to that job today. That really, I think that was a huge change for me, something that was long overdue, and I'm glad I did. And the income, what happened was
I know that. Yeah, please.
The income, my biggest fear, I mean, and I'll be open about the numbers. So that 2-day-a-week job was a $36,000 a year W-2 job for me. That's not easy to walk away from. And I justified it left and right, up and down. And I was worried when I left it that I wouldn't make up the money. And, you did have some influence on me with that, about, you've got to be happy. The money's going to come from somewhere else. And what that did was give me incentive to raise the rates on 2 of my clients. And the rate increase I got from the 2 clients that I instilled this long overdue rate was exactly $36,000. So it made up for quitting that job. So I think it's true, where there's a will, there's a way. And it's scary to take a big step like that. But once I did, it really gave me momentum to, I've got to find that money somewhere else.
Okay. Therefore, you maintained the same income, but you went from 50 hours to 20 hours, and you enjoyed who you were working with more.
Oh, for sure. My income's projected income is a little more this year than it was last year, because of some of the cleanup jobs, and I have a new client. So it's good. It's all very, very, very good.
Nice. Is there anything that we're skipping over that you want to mention?
Let me see. I got to look at my notes, because of my little 5 things. I was really happy to put that together. I think one of the things that is important to me is I do customize my relationship with my clients. I am attentive to them. I don't say, oh, I'm not taking phone calls on a Saturday or after 5 o'clock. And they don't abuse that. And what I do is I follow a lot of webinars, especially with the PPP and EIDL loan that was happening just now. I do the webinars for the education, because I do like to be able to advise them. And I find that they trust me and they come to me. And that's because it is personal for me. I only work with people who I like. I have worked in the past for people I didn't like, who were not nice to me or abusive, or quite frankly ran their businesses the way I didn't want to work for people the way they ran their businesses. And so working for people that I do value and respect, I'm able to give them advice, and happy to give them advice, find errors, and give them more income. So I would say, I do think it's important to personalize your business, keep yourself educated, and that they need you. As a matter of fact, one of my newer clients is getting his taxes done, and he said, okay, when the CPA, and I don't do taxes, when the CPA gives me my taxes back, I want you and I to go over it, because I don't know if I trust him. I mean, that's I think the sort of relationship you need to nurture with your clients. It's not just counting beans or entering transactions for them.
That is wonderful. And Susan, what I just want to check in is, maybe if anybody had any questions that they wanted clarification, are you okay with me doing that?
Sure.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions where you can either put in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself?
I have a question. I'm Rosanna.
Go ahead, Rosanna. Hi.
I'm going to put my camera up too so you can see me. Hi. My question is, when you talk to the client that you put the pricing up, how do you explain to the client? And also, are you saying, well, I also do some additional work or additional work, yeah, for the client? So how do you do that? Or how do you show them? Do you have something that they see?
I do. When this started coming up, you mean for the cleanup work and big jobs, you mean?
Actually, for monthly services.
Oh,
Is that something? Yeah.
yeah, I do have I have a template that I use for an engagement letter, and I detail what I am going to do for them.
Oh.
I will be as detailed as saying 3 bank accounts reconciled every month. If I do payroll, I'm very detailed, and you have to sit and think about how long the list is, because the longer the list, the more they're going to look at it and say, oh, wow, it's not just entering transactions. And then I also tell them what I need them to do for me, supply me with the information. And then I also put in there what I'm not going to do for them. I'm not going to, I assume what they give me is proper and that sort of a thing. Yeah, it's very, I specify it very carefully.
So do you put the price separate, or you put it in one price?
I put one price at the end of that engagement letter. Okay. What I do, first it's a proposal. This is a proposal, and this is what I'm going to do for you. And at the bottom of the proposal, this is what it's going to cost you for me to do all of this. And that's different from, there's also packages. But so there's packages where it can be, we can do this much, this much or this much or that much. But this is one we already gone through the package of what they do want from me. But there's also, earlier than that, backing it up, you can present them with the packages.
Okay, so they practically see everything before they didn't see it, but now when you have it all in agreement, they see it, the proposal, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, now I understand why the charges are different. So that's,
right. But before the proposal too, presenting a package to them where you list it and the one is short and then it gets longer and longer. You do at least they have the option of deciding at 3 different levels what they want you to do.
Gotcha. Okay. I was wondering. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions that they wanted to share, or anything that's coming up for you? Susan, how can people get in touch with you?
I'm on LinkedIn as Susan Natali. It's Natali. I always say it's like Natalie without the E. And my email address is susan.natali, again, Natali, @gmail.com.
Perfect. And I just want to say I appreciate you sharing so much with us, what your journey's been, the transformation that you have made in your business, the transformation in your bank account, getting some free time back, and really how it's also overflowed into raising your quality of life. If anybody wants to have a conversation with me about how they can put this into play, I do offer a complimentary Path to Profit strategy session where we can talk about what it is that you want to achieve and how that would work for you. So there's the link to be able to look at that. But really just want to say, Susan, thank you so much. I have been privileged to be part of your inner circle and really watching the transformations and you being able to really grow along with your business. Appreciate that.
And I appreciate everything we've done together as well. And just want everyone to know there's a lot out there. There's a lot of work and there's a lot of income. There's enough for everybody. And I wish everyone success.
Thank you so much. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. If you had any questions for Susan, feel free to reach out. Once again, what's your email address?
Susan.natali, Natali, @gmail.
Perfect. And if you want to reach out to me, you can go to the link in the chat, which is businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. and we can set up a conversation. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.